I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors regular session for October 17, 2023. Roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Hall.
Here.
Little. Schwartz.
Here.
Trelka.
Here.
Leyland.
Here. Would everyone please join us for a moment of silence as we reflect on our actions here today? Thank you. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. For item 1 being received or proposed as amended, Mr. Little contacted me yesterday and asked if we could delay. He wasn't sure how much of the meeting he'd be able to attend today and asked if we could delay the discussion and possible board action on the evidence intake facility. If that's all right for everyone.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Agenda is received. Public comments. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? Is there anyone on Zoom? All right, moving on to claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Beatner. Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Total bill payment today is $389,789.92. And of that, the 60/40 fund, we are paying $4,410.76. That does include $1,464 for Envision for the jail lobby renovations. And most of our bills are pretty routine this week. I don't think we are paying Peters Construction again for the jail lobby, $75,790.58, and that's probably the only kind of out of the ordinary payment we're making today. Everything appears to be in order. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Little.
Here. Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Trelka.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 4, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. I wanted to update you on the progress on our Dunkerton Road Bridge over on Highway or Road 66, C66. As I've been telling you, the contractor has now finished the work on the deck. They are working on the beams. They will work on the beams underneath the structure. They have yet to move in that subcontractor. This contract has about 14 to 15 days remaining work on the contract. So again, please be patient. It does look like not much is going on out of the structure. We have received a call or two from some of the local farmers, but we are, the contract does allow 2 more weeks of working days. I just wanted to show you a few slides of our Rice Road Bridge project. This is our county bridge crew. These were taken last week. You can see they are setting the 2 middle beams here, and then there will be a beam on each side that has guardrail on it. We are going from replacing a 24-foot wide by a 20-foot long bridge with this new structure. It is now 40-foot long by 30 feet wide. The green railing is a new safety feature we've started to incorporate, but things went well and all the beams were set last Thursday, I believe, and we do anticipate opening this bridge by Friday, weather permitting. And then lastly, I just want to remind you of our tour at the Waterloo, the City of Waterloo, the Public Works Building is scheduled for today. I've heard tentatively from 2 of you. If you'd just like to drive yourselves or you can accompany me, I've told them we would be there shortly after the board meeting concludes today. So just a reminder of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I get out of here.
Are there any other project updates? Anyone on Zoom with a project update?
I have a quick one.
Okay, great.
This is Caitlin Emmerich with Public Health. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. I just have a quick update on the Public Health Infrastructure Grant. The Public Health Infrastructure Grant is HHS funding that's coming through CDC. That was a pretty significant investment in public health infrastructure. The state of Iowa was awarded $33 million and some change in public health infrastructure grant funds in May of 2023 for a 5-year project period. Those funds are earmarked that 40% should support local public health. So that's a total of $13.2 million over that 5-year project period, or $2.6 million a year. We are just starting to hear from Iowa HHS the plan for spending of those funds. They announced on a webinar to us last week that Iowa HHS will be hiring 12 positions to support local public health. They've hired 4 of those positions so far, and intend to hire the remainder in the coming months through the spring, I believe. They are hiring staff that will serve on public health response teams and be subject matter experts that can assist local public health with specific needs. They were very clear that that 40%, or that $13.2 million over the 5-year project period, they are not going to issue contracts to local public health for those funds. Instead, they are going to hire state staff that will support local public health through their duties. So that is kind of the plan from the state perspective on what they are doing. National partners were also funded under this public health infrastructure grant: the Association of State and Territorial Health Officials, the Public Health Accreditation Board, and the National Network of Public Health. I can't remember the acronym. It's NNPHI. I'll have to remember what it is. But there's a couple of websites that there are starting to be launched to kind of give structure around the work that's happening with that public health infrastructure grant. And I just wanted to keep the board apprised of what was happening given the significant investment related to those funds.
Thank you, Caitlin. I do have one question. You mentioned about the HHS grant and the possibility, I guess, of them assisting local government. Did they give any suggestions, recommendations, or thoughts on how that would be done, how that assistance would be provided to help you with planning, I guess I'm thinking?
Yeah, so the positions that have been hired so far, the 4 positions that have been hired so far, include the project manager, the grant coordinator, and then 2 population health advisors, which would be, one is for financial and resource planning, and one is for community health assessments and community health improvement planning. The remainder, the other 8 positions that they intend to hire, they did give a couple of examples, but haven't, come out with job descriptions quite yet. They would be in a variety of subject matter expertise, maybe some in data and infrastructure and epidemiology, some in environmental health, those kinds of things. But kind of how that will work is still something that I am gathering information on.
Thank you. I assume so, but I just thought if there was some assistance and guidance they could give us would sure help. Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom with an update? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the minutes approved for October 10, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item 6 is the consent agenda. The following items are acted upon by a single resolution without separation unless someone wishes to remove something for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item number 7, other business. Resolution that the 2023 Weed Commissioners Report be approved and direct the chair to sign for same as submitted by Griffin Sabalka, Blackhawk County Weed Commissioner.
So moved.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Not a super ton has changed from the previous years, other than that we started spraying gravel roads and had a lot more herbicide use this year. Had a few weed complaints, not necessarily noxious weeds, but a few. So that was fairly good. We ended up, I would say, duties this year, about 15% weed commissioner and 85% IRVM duties. The noxious weeds that were addressed by citizens were maybe not so much in county right away or any county owned land, but it was more in city limits were a few. So I have to get with the city to talk about maybe getting some control on some of those things. But other than that, it was a pretty quiet year, and we did find some things in our own right away that we did take care of. So that I have to show you here. But, just an update on this year's spraying season. I would say overall it was a success. I had a goal of spraying a quarter of the county, and we just got over the quarter, which was with what we had was a pretty tall task, but we ended up getting it done. We had a lot of good days this summer to be able to go, sometimes longer than normal working hours, so that was good. We approximately covered 1,400 acres of right-of-way, so that was really good, and a total of 16,402 gallons of mixed chemical. So, and then that's some of the chemical that we used up, and then our new mixture that we used. Just a little bit of a comparison that we saw out there on the left is a bunch of, just brush, and underneath of it is kind of what the control looks like. We've got a really good control on, managing those trees in the right of way to keep those from growing too big and making that safe for roadway users. The rest of them are things that we did spray this year. The top middle is purple loosestrife. That can be very, it looks nice, but it can take over. The one underneath of it is Canada thistle, which is always a problem around here. It doesn't matter where you go. And then the bottom one is crown vetch, and that blankets things out and kills out our non-native and native grasses that hold our banks stable. And one that we really don't like to see is the comparison on the right is Japanese knotweed, and that stuff is extremely tough to get rid of. It takes 3 to 5 years to completely eradicate, and as you can see, after being sprayed, we had really good success with killing it this year. Next year it'll be back for sure, but that's just a little bit of comparison and things that we sprayed this year.
Griffin, quick question. When you're doing it a quarter of the county at a time,
Yeah.
how do you manage to stay ahead of a weed that's coming back year after year after year?
Sure. So with the truck that we are going to establish, I will be able to spray half the county each year. So as long as I can flip back and forth every other year, I will be able to maintain and prolong our success in keeping those weeds and trees down, and keeping all the farmers and landowners happy that way. Because I know there has been some calls about, just Canada thistle. Everybody knows it's there and that it's a big issue. So, and trees, obstructing people's driveways coming in and out of, especially like C-57 or Dunkerton Road that are really busy.
Yeah.
That we want to try and keep those obstructions down. But
And in theory, the more we are doing to establish the native grasses and native pollinators, they'll help also suppress opportunities for those invasive species, right?
absolutely, those noxious weeds don't have very extensive root structures. So by establishing those native prairies, that root structure will choke them out and won't be able to survive in that environment. So over time, it'll take a long time, but we'll be able to get there. So. And then I would just say some projects that we've done. The photo on the right is a really nice constructed prairie that we did over the Cedar River off of C-57. If you ever want to take a look at that, that's a really well-established area, and it looks really nice. So we just put some signs out there this summer, just stating the restoration of that, and there's all kinds of grasses and flowers out there currently. So that's a really neat one if you ever want to check that out. And some of our ditch cleanouts that we did this year or this past year, and some that have been there for a while. There's just some neat, things that you normally wouldn't see in a regular prairie that we have the opportunity to plant. So, yeah. And then, if you have any other questions, I don't have any further.
No, I think it's just a good reminder for the public. How many acres total do we have in the right of way?
Sure, we have just shy of 5,000 acres to manage in the right of way.
And then the ultimate goal for this, because I know if someone's just tuning in, they're just seeing stuff about spraying and stuff, they're wondering
Sure.
what we're doing, but it's actually to restore native prairies and out of this pretty substantial right of way that creates a really great pollinator corridor in the county.
Right, absolutely. And first and foremost, it's our safety of our roadway users. We have a lot of trees in our right of way, so that's a big, push that we're trying to make sure that everybody's safe when they're driving out there. And in the end, over the years, it will become, visually pleasing and aesthetically, valued throughout our vision and, our wildlife that utilizes that. So.
Thank you.
Great. I appreciate your reports. It's like kind of bringing us up to date. These were fairly new for us. They're new information, so it's great. This was a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes. Item B, resolution that the 2023 update to the Integrated Roadside Vegetation Management Plan be approved and direct the chair to sign for same as submitted by Griffin Sabalka, Blackhawk County Weed Commissioner.
So moved.
So move.
Moved and seconded.
You have any questions on that, or?
No, anything more you wanted to say about that?
No, there's quite a bit of stuff that changed, but that's just all geared toward management practices and things like that we're going to be implementing. So that's about it.
No, appreciate it. It was larger than I remembered. So. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes. Item C is a resolution for the supervisors to commit $1 million to the University of Northern Iowa Unidome renovation project.
So moved.
I believe, all right. I believe we have guests here today. If you'd introduce yourself and provide the update and presentation, that'd be great. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mark Nook. I have the honor of serving the students and faculty and staff of the University of Northern Iowa as their president. And it's a pleasure to be with you again to talk a little bit about the project to renovate and improve the University of Northern Iowa's dome facility, better known as the Unidome, to really everybody in the state of Iowa. To begin with, what's the best way to advance the slides?
Probably just use the arrow keys on
Oh.
click off the mouse first. Sorry. There you go.
Which one was it, the forward?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you, thank you. This is part of a much larger campaign for the University of Northern Iowa. We're in the process of raising $250 million for the university in a major campaign that we started last year at this time. At the moment, we've raised $242 million of the $250 million. Almost all of that is to support scholarships, to support faculty and staff, and to support new programs. We've also raised most of the money we need for one of our iconic spaces, that being the Gallagher Blue Dorn Performing Arts Center, and about half of the money that we're raising for the Campanile project. And just to talk a little bit about where we're going with these 4 pillars in this campaign to set the background for what we're asking for today. The 4 pillars include student access and success. Think of that primarily as funds to help support students through scholarships. The engaged learning is to help students, help fund students in their internship programs, in undergraduate research, and things that actively engage them in the work that they do in the classroom, to put that to work in their professional lives. The academic programs and faculty, as you've heard, we've recently launched a new nursing program, are in the process of launching a material science engineering program. We have an ongoing program in gerontology to help students know better how to support our aging population and aging community. All of these programs are helping us grow our enrollment, which is so important, not just to our university, but really to the entire region around the university. We recognize our role within the city, within the county, within this larger region, and within this state to develop the workforce that Iowa needs, that Black Hawk County needs, and that really a much larger region than that needs as well. To put in perspective some of the impact that UNI overall has, in the county of Black Hawk County, there are almost 13,000 residents who count themselves as UNI alum. And we're very proud of that. It's a large portion of our county's population, and a large portion of our alumni base is located right here in the county of, in Black Hawk County. In particular, next one. There we go. Thanks. With a little project update just on the Unidome. This is really a 4-phase project, and the first phase, we're in the process of raising money for that. The first phase is a $20 million project phase. We've raised a little over $18 million at this point. The first one of the pieces of that is the fabric roof replacement, which will happen starting in '24. So we hope to have it completed by this time next year and ready for the football season. That is something that's very needed for this facility. The facility was constructed, as I think everybody around here knows, in 1976, so it's very nearly 50 years old. It is time for us to do a major renovation, and with the total project cost being about $50 million. This phase 1, though, will in particular focus on that roof replacement and then putting a really nice entrance onto this facility so people will know that they've arrived at the University of Northern Iowa, and especially here within Black Hawk County. We have secured a project architect already for this in RDG. They've started to work on the project. We have secured several leadership gifts. One of the most recent ones was from a local family business that has contributed a little over $500,000 to this project. So we're well on our way to getting to that first phase. We have raised, as I said before, $242 million of the $250 million of what was our goal. I want to emphasize that was a goal, and we are really exceeding expectations in many of the areas. We still have about $32 million to raise on this particular project, so we will clearly exceed the $250 million goal. We've already partnered with the city of Cedar Falls. They've made a commitment for $2.5 million, which is part of the $18 million that we've already raised. What I want to point out in my opening comments is that we really want to partner with Black Hawk County. we recognize the significance of the Unidome to the people of Black Hawk County. It's an economic driver, and you'll hear a little bit more about those numbers and what that really means. But it also is a resource for the people to come and use. It builds quality of life here in a way that is so vital to this county, to our cities, the cities within the county. And by doing that, it helps us attract population to this region. I've talked with many people that run businesses, from the hospitals to attorneys, that are looking for people to come to work here. One of the things they point out is all of the activities associated with being in a university town, from the Gallagher Blue Dorn Performing Arts Center to the things, especially the Division I athletics that happens inside the Unidome, but more importantly, the events that are held in the Unidome, from various farm shows, sports shows, ag shows, youth volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments, wrestling tournaments. All of those happen because we have a dome, and those projects can happen, those activities can happen here in the Black Hawk County. It can't really happen anywhere else in the state of Iowa. So it really does improve our quality of life, and it improves the economic value, of our county. With that, let me turn it over to Jamar at this point.
All right, thanks, President Nook. Jamar Thompson at the University of Northern Iowa. So I get a chance to talk a little bit about the pillar of the community piece that the Dome has served. So the Dome has been a landmark certainly for the Cedar Valley for nearly 50 years, from 76, coming up in 2026 is a 50-year mark, but certainly the quality of life has been enhanced due to the Dome being here, the structure being here, the concerts of people that come here because of the Dome landscape being here in our county. So we've been very fortunate and blessed for almost 50 years to have this place called home, a historic landmark here in our county. So when you look at some of the numbers, over 500,000 visitors come to the Dome annually for different events that we have, a variety of athletic events, to antique shows and STEM festivals, so a variety of things that people come to the Dome for, generating about $17 million in economic impact, which we feel is the biggest and would certainly defend the biggest economic driver for the Cedar Valley. Nothing brings more people here than an event like a facility like the Dome does on an annual basis. Roughly 200,000 visitors come from outside Black Hawk County. These are sometimes people who've never been here before, from out of state, from out of the county, and the first landscape to come to Black Hawk County, experience all the great things we have to offer. But that in part is because coming through the Unidome first for an event or some type of activity taking place. There's about 40 single or multi-day events that take place. If you come to our facility, there's not a day that it's not used, whether it's by one of our athletic teams, whether it's we got a different show or event, single or multi-day, it's always used. And over the years, the demand for wanting to use the Dome has increased. And so our staff has tried to find ways that we can do that, but obviously having a better, more enhanced facility will let us serve our patrons even better as the years go on. On the right side of the screen, you see the different types of shows that we all have. You are very aware, if you're here in Black Hawk County, you probably have a story, whether you worked at a concert or attended an event. One of those events probably touch your life in some capacity. When we look at the importance of investing in the facility, if we don't do anything, we have an economic loss that we serve for the facility that serves this county. So as this facility gears up to its 50-year anniversary, what do we look at to have this facility be? What it has been or what it could be, and what it will be and what it should be, to better serve the patrons of this county and this state and this region. So when you look at $1.9 million in potential economic loss from not doing anything just due to the facility, that's a big piece for this county, for what we're trying to do to get people here to experience what we have to offer. But certainly an investment will change that. An investment will offer obviously increased economic impact for the county. It will make our facility more competitive with other facilities in the state, drawing more events that want to come here to Black Hawk County. It's more marketable for our events because now you have a more modern facility that can serve the patrons of this day, and an enhanced a Black Hawk County landmark that we all, I think, would agree that there's a pretty special thing about having a landmark like the Dome here in this county specifically. So I had a couple things to show quick. If this could talk and tell the stories of what have happened over the 50 years. This is the original ticket from the first football game in '76. And it was $5, so it's probably $20 now. So don't complain if we have $10 ticket prices or $20 ticket prices. So this ticket itself, almost 50 years old, imagine the stories it could tell from when it first had its first football game to how crazy that would have been to have a dome in the middle of some cornfields to now to envision what this place has served for many years to come. Additionally, we talked about this being a community facility, not an athletic-specific facility. And so when we look at the original marketing pieces, this was what was used. It talked about it being used for multi-purpose events and activities. So our task is to keep this value, this vision true by making this facility better and more enhanced so we can continue to serve the patrons of this day. So when you look at the investment, what will that do? We estimate 10 to 15% of increased economic impact. So we talked about 17 million, that number going up because now we have a facility that's more attractive and appealing to the patrons of this community, this state, this region. So by doing that, it gives us the opportunity to improve the acoustics, so it allows us to bring more A-list concerts to the area, better seating, wider aisles, and better accessibility for our patrons with disabilities. Additional suites, which will cater to the families and businesses who want to entertain and have something to do outside of their normal work hours. Additional restrooms, which is a major concern lifted up by female patrons, as you all know. More opportunities to host events because we have the outdoor football practice facility that was built in its turf that allows the football team to be outside more, which opens up opportunities for us to utilize the dome more. In addition to the Cedar Falls High School building a brand new high school and them having their own stadium opens up other nights that we can use the dome for external use. And then we've seen our commitment from the Iowa High School Athletic Association by extending their agreement with us for the next 5 years to continue to host the Iowa High School State Championships. Just shows the vitality and the importance of the dome and what it serves for the state. So with that, we are tasked to look at the next 50 years. And I'll turn it over to our athletic director, David Harris.
All right. Good morning, everyone. David Harris, Director of Athletics. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to come in and provide the update and talk about this project that is critically important to the county, we believe, and to what we are looking to do with the campaign and the athletics department and what we feel that it can ultimately bring to the citizens that call Black Hawk County home. So as it says here, what about the next 50 years? And I think when you're in a leadership position, you're always trying to look forward. There has been a ton of history with the Unidome, all of the things that have happened from a sport-related standpoint, from concerts, from events, all the memories that the people in this county, outside the county, but within the state, and really throughout the region have had within the facility. And so it's our responsibility to try to prepare the facility for the next 50 years of memories that will be made by the people who have a chance to be able to be there. But in order to do that, there's a significant investment that needs to be made. As President Nook has talked about and Jamar has talked about, in many cases, the dome really hasn't had a significant comprehensive upgrade since it was built in 1976. There's obviously been work done to the roof, but for the things that we're looking at doing, really the dome hasn't been touched in a significant way in those 47 years. And so we have to take the steps now to prepare it so that it continues to be not only a viable, but an attractive facility for the next 50 years. And so there's a lot that's involved with doing that. That's what we're tasked with as leaders, but this is something that we feel that we have to all come together as a community to be able to do. As we've mentioned, this is a community facility first and foremost, so we certainly need the help of the facility to be able to do what we'd like to do. So the project goal is $50 million. As we've talked about, there are 3 phases to the project. First and foremost, in phase 1, the fabric roof replacement, as President Nook said, will be done next summer. And so we hope to have that done by the beginning of the 2024 season. And then the west addition, which includes the creation of a new primary entrance on the west side, the addition of an elevator on the west side, the doubling the size of the concourse on the west side, as well as the addition of restrooms, on the west side, and then the expansion of our suite level. We feel this will be a significant upgrade for us. If you've been in the Dome when we have a really big event, you know that as you move up and down the concourse, it can be congested. So we needed to widen the concourse. You know that in many cases, there's not quite enough restrooms for everybody who's needs to be able to use it without having to stand on long lines. So we want to increase the number of restrooms. We feel like we have an opportunity to increase the premium experience for people who come to the event by doing an addition and renovation to the suite level. But then also by adding an elevator on the west side, it gives those of us a chance to be able to get to the suite level without having to be able to walk up the stairs, which is obviously has a negative impact on the elderly and those who have disabilities. So all of those things have been done intentionally and work together to be able to create a better atmosphere, a better facility for all of the patrons that come into the different types of events that happen. That first phase is a $20 million phase. Then phase two is there's some behind the scenes enabling that needs to be done. We want to replace the indoor track and then improvements to the inner bowls. So we want to take out all the current seats, put in new seating. So we'll have new upgraded seats. We want to widen the aisles. We want to add arm rails up and down the aisles, which may not sound like a significant thing, but just recently I had two of our donors attend a football game at home, sitting in the AD suite. And they told me that they haven't had season tickets for a football game in the last maybe 3 to 4 years. And when I said why, they said as an elderly couple, they don't feel comfortable going up and down the stairs without arm rails to be able to hold on to. And so they said because of that, they've given up their season tickets. And so they said they had not been to a game in the last 4 years. This was the first game that they'd gone to when we played Youngstown State in the last 4 years because of the need for that simple upgrade. It's simple, but it's significant to people who are coming to the facility. So we want to be able to widen those aisles, add in the arm rails, be able to replace the seating so you provide a more comfortable environment within the inner bowl. And then within our ADA area, we need to do significant upgrades there so that our patrons who have disabilities that come to the game will have the ability to be able to see the field comfortably, even with the people that are sitting in front of us right now. That view is a bit of an obstructed view, so we need to make improvements there. So that second phase is a $20 million phase as well. And then the final phase, which is roughly $10 million, will add graphics both inside and outside the facility. It will add a new sound system. One of the complaints that we get on a regular basis is that the sound system is not up to par and it can be difficult to hear what the PA announcer is saying, so we need to be able to replace that. We want to add in new lighting that allows us to be able to do some things differently as far as the introduction of our teams, as well as some other types of events that we have in the facility. And then a marquee sign, so something probably roughly about the corner of Hudson and 27th Street so that everybody knows the events that are being had in the facility. Right now, one of the issues that we hear about is, hey, we're not quite sure when there's an event that's being held in the Dome. We're not quite sure when there's a game, when there's a sports show, when there's a concert. There's no place that we can really go to find that information. And so if we can establish a marquee that's right there on Hudson as you're driving up and down, which is obviously a heavily trafficked area, you can see exactly what's going to be happening within the facility. And we're hoping that that will continue to help us as far as attendance, bringing people into the facility and continue the growth of the region. So we are seeking the support of the county and of the supervisors. When we came here previously in February of this year, our original ask was $5 million. After conversations have occurred, we've decided to revise our ask to $1 million. We feel like this is, while it is less than our original ask, it is still a very significant amount, we know, to the county and to us. One of the reasons that we're looking for this amount is that as we're having conversations with people who are interested in supporting the project and want to support the facility, as we're having conversations with private citizens, in many cases, they're asking us about what other entities that benefit from the dome are doing to be able to support the project. So they ask us many times, what is the city doing? What is the county doing? What are local businesses doing? What is the Iowa High School Association doing? All of the big name, well-recognized entities that they know have a stake in the future of the dome. They feel that that's an important element as they are considering whether or not they're going to make a donation to it. And so we understand that this is something very important, not just from the financial support that we're getting from these entities, and in this case from the supervisors, but what it can do to help us with momentum as we go forward, and also as we're going to have future conversations, as President Nook mentioned, we're at about $18 million, so we have $32 million to still raise. So that's a lot of conversations that are going to happen over the next 2 or 3 years with a lot of different entities, including private citizens. And so as we're able to go and speak with them and tell them about the commitments that have been made by those groups that they're asking about, then we believe it gives us a better chance to be successful in this campaign and raising the money that we need to raise. So it is our request today that the county and that the supervisors grant us the $1 million request to go to the Unidome project. We feel it will be a difference-making donation for us in a number of different ways. But first and foremost, it will continue to help us make the Dome a vibrant facility for this community, for the city, for the county, in many different ways that will be significant for all of us. We're absolutely committed to the Dome for the next 50 years, for making the decisions that will put us in the very best possible situation. But we need all of us. It is a community facility first and foremost, so having that support from the community is a significant thing for us as we move forward. So as it says, investing in the future begins with you. It begins with all of us. And we want to thank you for providing us this opportunity to make the request. As President Nook said, it's part of a bigger campaign that the university is having, but in many ways we see this as a campaign to continue to keep the county a place that visitors and guests want to come to, a place that continues to be an economic driver for the community, and a place that over the next 50 years will put us in a position to continue to have great events, many visitors coming in, and continue to be an economic driver in a way that's significant for the county. With that, we will certainly field any questions that any of the supervisors have.
Thank you. Thanks very much for the presentation, as well as, I know, just the repeat of it, a lot of the information was good for me, the review, so thank you.
Thank you.
I guess some of the questions that I guess came to mind, and you've addressed that a little bit too, the reduction of the $5 million request to the $1 million, the fact that you're asking for it now. I guess I'm assuming as you're doing more campaigning, you're thinking that this kind of adds as a driver for this. The projections, I guess, that maybe you've made, or maybe there aren't projections as far as what businesses, and I don't mean particular businesses, but the business community in the area, and what dollars that you see that would be raised from that, or has that even been something you've considered, as well as I know there have been some large personal donations that have assisted, but other communities is certainly a question as you've approached them. You mentioned, I know Cedar Falls, has Waterloo been approached, and the request made of them as well, being the larger community in Blackhawk County as well?
Sure. We did have a conversation with the city of Waterloo. At the time that we had the conversation, they didn't feel that at the time they would know exactly how to be able to identify the funding necessary to be able to support the project. So we haven't had further conversations during that time period, but we did have a chance to be able to talk with them about that. It just, at that point, didn't yield any further financial support. As we talked about, we did go to the city of Cedar Falls, who's made a $2.5 million donation, which is significant for us and much appreciated. We know that as we're going forward now and trying to identify other entities, in many cases, it's private foundations that we're having conversations with, and then we're looking at particular businesses that we want to have conversations with as well. That's something that we're going to continue to look at as we look into 2024. We know that there are entities out there that we want to be able to get in front of, and we feel like we're getting pretty significant momentum now, but there are others that we need to be able to approach. I would say that for the most part, almost everyone that we've gotten in front of has had interest in being able to support the project in some form or fashion. So even if they are not in a position where they've made as big a gift or as big a pledge as some might like them to have done, then in many cases they have made a significant donation to what we're trying to build. And so that's one of the things that excites us, is that I think it's universally recognized the value that the Dome has in the community. So whether it's going to businesses or going to the city or going to private foundations, we found really significant support that we expect to continue. And we'll be working on doing this over the next 2 or 3 years, or however long it takes to meet our goal.
I have some other comments, but do others have questions or comments?
No, I mean, I think it's a it's a facility. The university as a whole touches the lives of almost everybody in the community in some way or format. When we heard, just about our roadside biology today, like the CEEE houses the experts for that in the state, and so we utilize that. We utilize the university in so many different ways. I spent a lot of time in the Dome. I had a small scholarship that kept me in the Dome for 3 nights a week for marching band for 4 years playing electric bass. But I also recognize that it's kind of a depressing facility too at the same time, because it's desperately needed a facelift. It was built kind of during the dark period of American architecture of the 70s, but it certainly can be brought into the modern era and be ready to serve for the next 50 years. And so I think that's exciting. And so it's and the economic impact is I think pretty obvious, what it does for businesses and what it does for the tax base, what it does for just our public here. And so I'm ready to support the request today.
I mean, I look at this request, 1976 was when this building was constructed, and we look across the landscape of the state and how really in the last 10, maybe even a little less than that, years, we've seen a real boom in large-scale sports facilities being built across the state. And they may not have the flexibility of the Unidome, which makes it unique, but each of those structures does pull a little bit more at different event organizers, different promoters, and so it does jeopardize, the economic vitality of the structure of the campus and ultimately of the region and community. And so I'm supportive of the project, of the request, recognizing that this is a regional asset which deserves regional support in the interest of regional economic impact and regional attraction. I believe it's the responsibility of this board to support regional efforts when possible, and looking forward to seeing what all happens.
Is timing, from a timing standpoint, why you put this on you asked to have it put on the agenda? And I know Tavis recognized the fact of your resolution to add it to today rather than another time. Is there any significance for that?
Well, I guess the biggest significance is that we're in a phase of our fundraising where we're trying to get in front of, I guess I'd call it institutional entities more so than private donations. We're trying to get some momentum from the county, from the city, from foundations before we start having a lot of individual conversations. Now, we've had some of those conversations now, and they've yielded some significant donations, but we are in a period where we really introduced this project and this campaign about a year ago. So we're still in the relative early phases, and we felt like if we can go and get a commitment from the county, that is only going to help us in conversations that are going to occur in 2024 and beyond. So the significance is really about trying to have entities like the county and the city and others at the beginning of our ask in the campaign, because as we get positive feedback, that's only going to help us as we move forward.
Thank you. Well, and the reason, I guess, timing, I think, has been something that's been important to me particularly, is the fact that this board has recognized, I think, for months, the fact that we're trying to get our arms and heads around, I think, our county projects from an ARPA dollars standpoint and what funds we have available even for county projects. And we've had some very large, significant projects that we'd like to see done and we've kind of committed to, and still are just having estimates on those projects. And so we also have some, and a very important one, we've talked about public health being the clinic and their department that needs something, and we have no dollars identified yet other than an estimate that we've made from a previous space study, but something like that. And so I find it very difficult to support your request at this time when we can't, that we have communities that have made requests to us, we have other nonprofits, and we haven't developed a plan or criteria or something for our giving yet, and that's not a discussion we've had. And certainly, I think there's probably no one that doesn't believe that the Unidome and UNI are economic drivers for this community, as well as the quality of life add to that. But at this particular time when we can't even commit to our own projects and know what those dollars are, committing to other communities or to projects such as yours, to me, is early, very early or premature in the process for me. So I just want to be I certainly think it's a great project and want to see it done, and after 50 years, I'm sure all of that's much needed and would appreciate it, but just timing-wise, there's a lot of unknowns for us right now, I think, and I'm not prepared to do that right now.
Certainly understood. I guess I look at timing in a different way. We've talked about it being early in the campaign and trying to create momentum for other asks that are coming up. Based on what the other supervisors have shared, I would agree that for us, from a timing standpoint, we're behind. And so time is of the essence from a standpoint of we know we are operating in a competitive environment. And every day that you're not making an investment in yourself, in your facilities, in your community, you're falling behind some other community that's made that type of investment. And so for us to have a facility that's 47 years old and for the first time to really be coming and trying to make a commitment to move forward, we feel like time is very important because we're behind other facilities that have been built and have been improved during this time period. And so for us, we don't want to miss this opportunity to be able to make the kind of improvements that we think will be generational for us. And so that plays into the timing as well. But thank you, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate your position. It's much the same for us. I think this is an opportunity for us, I think, when we're looking at ARPA dollars as well as our reserves and the level they're at, what to do with them, and we've probably been behind as well. So thank you very much, David.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Yes, are there any online questions or comments? Or
Well, I just want to say I realize the economic, it helps the entire county economically. And I appreciate receiving that data. I just wish one of our larger communities would also realize it eventually, would realize how this is going to impact them positively when it comes to the economics, and that they would tangibly invest in it as well.
thank you. This is a resolution. I believe a motion was made.
I'll second the motion.
And moved and seconded. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
No.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland.
I guess my answer would be that I'd abstain, not to vote no against the project. I certainly don't want to be a negative vote in that sense, and I'd like the minutes to reflect that, Grant, but I'll abstain. I need further information on our projects as well, so
Thank you very much.
thank you. Item D, resolution that a letter of support to Blackhawk County Gaming Association and a letter of support to Enhance Iowa for funding requests for the Community Natatorium Project be approved and direct the chair to sign for same.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Anybody with questions or comments? I think everybody received a copy of them. All right. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes. Item E, resolution that Amendment 7 for the professional services contract with Origin Design of Dubuque, Iowa for the Cedar Valley Nature Trail Project in Blackhawk County utilizing American Rescue Plan funds for final design and bidding services in the replacement of the C1, E3, M1 bridges and targeted sections of asphalt overlay on Division 2, as well as final design for the replacement of L1 bridge not to exceed the amount of $178,000 be approved, and for the chair to sign as recommended by the Conservation Board.
So moved?
Second.
And moved and seconded. Great, Mr. Henderson.
Yeah,
you
very
can
quickly,
explain what I read through.
with you're well aware, Division 1, Phase 2 of the Cedar Valley Nature Trail, 9.5 miles of hard surfacing. That project is under contract now, and the contractor actually was starting today, so it's underway. With that being said, we are moving to Division 2, which is the north 16.5 miles from McFarland Park back to Evansdale. What we are doing is we are trying to utilize or get the most out of the rest of our ARPA funds that you have given us to utilize on that Cedar Valley Nature Trail. So with that, we have asked Origin Design to continue with final design and bidding for what we think we can do with what money is left, and that's 3 bridges, one being very significant, C1. It's over a 200-foot bridge. That thing will come in at about $1 million more than likely. But the 3 bridges together, we look at probably about $1.5 million. And then we're going to utilize what's left to do some asphalting, overlaying of that surface. We had hoped that if we could do the entire project, we would overlay the entire 16.5 miles. But we'll get as much done as we can. We hope maybe a couple of miles out of that, but we're trying to get as much done. So this resolution is to approve moving forward with final design and bidding for the Division 2 portion of the Cedar Valley Nature Trail.
Thank you. Any questions for Mike? Any questions online for Mike? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little, Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes. Item F, resolution that the disposal of the following county auditor records be authorized. Valuation reports and work files from assessment years 1989 to 19. Agland Family Farm credit claims from assessment years 1992 to 2019. Certificates of adjustment from assessment years 1992 to 2019. Fire protection values from assessment years 1992 to 2019. Grain handler and utility value reports from assessment years 1987 to 1992. And tax apportioning reports from assessment years 2009 to 2020.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. I assume there's no comments, Grant, unless you want to make any. I was going to say on this.
These are items that are in our vault in the basement that they're all supporting reports for doing property tax work. We're trying to clean out as much as we can of these old reports that aren't required to be kept.
Thank you. Resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little, Leyland,
Yes. Item G is a motion to approve the personnel requisition submitted for Equipment Operator 2, effective January 2nd, 2024, as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
So moved?
Second.
This is just a replacement for a motor grader operator who will retire January 2nd, and we'd like to get that backfilled so we have a person in our plows come winter.
Thank you, Kathy. This is a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item H is delayed for another week. And item 8, any reports or information from the board?
just give my condolences to the family of Jim Walsh. He's certainly an individual who made a huge impact on this community and left a legacy that's going to continue to live on in this downtown area, that he's did so much to save some of these historic buildings, and we're going to be able to enjoy that legacy for decades to come.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing that. I thought about it earlier. Appreciate it. Any other reports or information from the board? Ask for an motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.